Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're back with the Empire, going to be taking on the Tomb Kings, hence the Templehof Luminarch here. So let's go ahead and go to the army compositions. Boris Todbringer is going to be leading the Empire force today. He's got his Midland Runefang and nothing else for a nice cheap kit. Of course the Griffin as well, not to be ignored. Fear and Terror, Armor Piercing with a large charge bonus. We've also got the Rural Altdorf Griffites, a Bright Wizard for some additional fire damage. We've also got 2 Knights of the Blazing Sun, 2 units of Outriders, and 4 units of Spearmen, as well as the Templehof Luminarch. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Tomb King force here. We've got a couple, or just a single unit of Carrion here. We've got some Skeleton Horsemen Archers. Through the main line, we've got some Tomb Guard, 2 Tomb Guard with Halberd, and the Regiment of Renown Skeleton Spearmen up front, the Scorpion Legion. We've got more Tomb Guard out to the flanks here. Looks like some more Skeleton Spears as well as Nehekara Horsemen, Tomb Prince, and Arkan the Black with the Wanushabti Great Bow and the Regiment of Renown Blessed Legion. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and kick things into full gear. And right off the bat, my opponent's going to be moving forward. I do have a slight ranged advantage with this Templehof Luminarch here. So, of course, as soon as my opponent's Lords and Heroes come into view, they're going to be the primary target, as the Templehof Luminarch, of course, does magical and fire damage, and all Tomb King's characters outside of Katep are weak to fire damage, so it's definitely going to be strong. We're getting Boris out to the flanks to see if we can just crumble those Kyrian right off the bat, and you can see first shot opening up here. Templehof Luminarch going to pop off a nice laser shot and make solid contact. You see does about 3/4 of Arkan's HP in a single hit, or more like 2/3, but also managed to down a single unit model of the Ushabti Great Bows, so that's nice as well. Has taken their hitting power down slightly. Tomb Prince didn't take any damage, but yeah, Arkan definitely regretting his life decisions at this point. And one thing that I really am not a fan of Skeleton Horsemen is this right here. Because they're so slow, they can get caught by heavy cavalry. The Knights of the Blazing Sun at 71 speed, once they hit their charge speed especially, are going to be able to catch the Skeleton Horsemen. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of Tomb King's cavalry, even like this Nehekara Horseman, for example. It's currently out here working over my Outriders. We're going to get in here with the Knights of the Blazing Sun and work these guys over as well. I mean, they're alright. They have okay-ish combat stats, these Nehekara Horsemen. They just don't have any specialty with their weapon strength. They don't have a good charge bonus, only 50 armor, and they're relatively slow as well at 78 speed, so not the biggest fan at the end of the day. They did do some damage to those Outriders, though, and you can see the Carrion coming down and the Ushabti Great Bow is actually doing some really nice damage to the Templehof Luminarch here. They're probably going to be routing it off. We try and screen with the Royal Altdorf Griffites here, but they're not going to be quick enough. Unfortunately, this Templehof Luminarch does rout. However, it's still got plenty of HP left, so we should be able to bring it back. At this point, Boris is just kind of trolling around the back line. I'm trying to snipe out Arkan as aggressively as possible to try and make sure he doesn't get too much healing, because of course with that Blessed Tomb Blade, which he did bring, he'd be crazy not to. You can get a ton of healing out of him, so we definitely want to try and prevent that if possible. You can see my opponent attacking a little bit piecemeal here. We're just going to let him kind of wash up against my spear line while we try and get through the periphery engagement here. You can see Arkan the Black posted up here. Boris is going to come down and try and teach him a thing or two about the Empire. That being said, Arkan, you know, he'll be able to take some hits here. He did pop the Tomb Blade to give himself some healing, and the Tomb Prince also going to be coming in, I believe. Not quite yet, but looks like a Spirit Leech. He did drop that Libra Mortis as well, giving some nice physical resistance. Fate of Buna going down on these Knights of the Blazing Sun. Despite their magic resistance, they will take quite a bit of damage, and a beautiful shot from the Luminarch comes straight through the side there of that Blessed Legion and does a ton of damage to the Tomb Prince as well. The Luminarch is a powerful character sniper in any situation, but particularly against the Tomb Kings with their weakness to fire, that definitely makes a huge difference there. Going to be dropping a Flaming Sword of Ruin on Boris so that he gets fire damage as well. That way, if he goes up against one of these Tomb Kings characters, he'll be able to take him down, and a beautiful Luminarch shot just point blank snipes him right next to Boris. This probably did a little bit of damage to Boris as well. But yeah, Knights of the Blazing Sun getting on these Ushabti Great Bows. We're going to be dropping a Burning Head down the main line here, because of course Tomb Guard will beat down State Troop Spearmen, but Tomb Guard also don't have that much armor, so we've got a beautiful Overcast Burning Head here just roasting through the line of skeletons. With a little bit of friendly fire, but overall got some really nice kills, up to 157 for that Bright Wizard just from that single Burning Head, more or less. So Boris is still relatively healthy. We've also got the Ushabti Great Bows crumbling away. Arkan is still alive, though, has managed to survive. The Tomb Prince got sniped out by Boris because of the fire damage there. Ushabti Great Bows being summoned up in the back line, but we do have the Royal Altar of Griffites still just chilling in this area, kind of in a protection stance. So they're going to be able to get on these Ushabti Great Bows and definitely help speed their passing. Our Outriders at this point don't really have too much to contest them, so they're just kind of parked in the back line here shooting, and Arkan's going to take a point blank Luminarch shot to the face, and I thought he was going to get one more in there, but at this point Arkan's very, very low, trying to get the Blessed Legion and these other units in the back line. The Kepler Guard are a very nice regiment of renown, but of course they're weak to fire damage as they have the standard regeneration trait, so these Knights of the Blazing Sun will actually do pretty decently. There are some halberds mixed in here as well, so it's not going to be ideal, but the fire damage will help against the Kepler Guard, and oh man, Arkan just got blasted. So yeah, Arkan, buddy, is oh man, is he just straight up gone? I don't see him there. Anyway, yeah, Arkan's gone now, and you can see that's shifted the balance power pretty decisively in my favor. At this point, we're going to turn the Outriders, start firing over into this flank here, and yeah, Boris himself going after those skeleton horsemen. Another beautiful Luminarch shot, doing a little bit of friendly fire, but doing a lot of damage to these Tomb Guard and more. So at this point, we'll just soak up some cinematic action as the battle wraps up here. Beautiful map, I have to say. Yeah, the Tomb Guard and Kepler Guard are going to be coming down the hill here, firing point blank, are these Outriders. Oh man, how about that power stance though from the Kepler Guard there? They're going to make contact. At this point, obviously, I'm not really too worried about my Outriders, but things are going to start to crumble here, and at that point my opponent does admit defeat. So well played. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that battle. It's nice and refreshing to see the Tomb Kings not go with construct spam quite so aggressively. This army does have some decent tools to deal with that, but yeah, at the end of the day, fire damage really proving its worth there. 105 kills plus sniping out Arkan for the Templehof Luminarch. Boris got some good work done, and also helped take out that Tomb Prince as well. The Fire Wizard also being key there. 165 from that massive Burning Head, and he also got some nice Flaming Sword of Ruins and so on. Royal Altar of Griffites helping support the main line was pretty key, and the Knights of the Blazing Sun kind of cycle charging that rear line area was very key as well. They were able to tie down those Ushabti Great Bows, and also do quite a bit of fire damage to some of the units in the back line, clean up like these Blessed Legion and some other units, the Skeleton Horsemen Archers and so on. So yeah, I definitely like the full fire build. I didn't go quite as ham as I could have. You know, I could probably bring like a Warrior Priest of the Flaming Banner to add to this if I really wanted to go all out, but I didn't quite have the funds for it. So I figured, you know, the Templehof Luminarch and the Knights of the Blazing Sun and so on should be enough. And thankfully for me, it was. So for my opponent's build, you know, it's interesting. We can talk a little bit more about the Skeleton Cavalry, because I've mentioned previously that I'm not a huge fan of them, and the main reason why is their speed. I mean, they have okay combat stats, especially for an undead unit. If we go to the Tomb Kings here, we can kind of compare, and I know I just switched off the Empire, but let's switch this one back to the Empire so we can kind of compare. So, I mean, Reichsguard, for example, I guess it would probably be better to compare these Empire Knights. So Empire Knights are 850, and Nekar Horsemen are a little bit cheaper at 650. They have pretty solid combat stats. They have better combat stats actually overall. Obviously they have a lot less armor, and the issue is the speed. There's not that much of a speed difference between these guys and a lot of other cavalry, particularly heavy cavalry, like if we compare to, let's say, Dragon Princes. So Dragon Princes have 78 speed as well. So, I mean, they have the same speed as Dragon Princes. They have solid combat stats overall, these Nehekara Horsemen. They don't have armor piercing. They do have 10 armor piercing, which is decent, but 38 weapon strength total isn't amazing. I mean, they're okay. They just really don't shine necessarily for their cost, and I think their low speed is really what lets them down, particularly the Skeleton Horseman Archers. I mean, you're talking about a skirmish cav that has pretty garbage combat stats, comparable to many of the other, like, let's say, Bretonia's Mounted Yeoman Archers would probably be a pretty decent comparison. So Yeoman Archers are 550, slightly more expensive, but look at the speed differential there. Skeleton Horseman Archers at only 76 speed are just, they're going to struggle to stay out in front of other cavalry, and that's kind of the whole point of skirmish calves. So I'm not really sure about the role of this unit. I mean, I get they're undead horses. They're supposed to be a little bit slower, but I do think that these guys could be moved up a little bit, probably a little bit closer to Illyrian Reavers in speed. If we look at the High Elves here once again, Illyrian Reavers, I believe, have somewhere in the 80 range. Let's see. Oh, they actually do have 90 speed. So honestly, you don't necessarily have to give them 90 speed, but the Nehekara Horsemen, the Skeleton Horsemen Archers, and these Skeleton Horsemen all could stand to be a little bit faster. Maybe if you bump them up to like 85 to 88, it would be a little bit better bracket, but as it is right now, they're way too slow to be cost effective for light cavalry. I mean, the whole point of light cavalry is that it's fast, so if you don't have that, then your light cavalry is more or less worthless. And I have seen some things where you use like the Overcast Cursed Blades to give the Nehekara Horsemen a bonus versus large, and then they can trade well against other higher tier light cavalry like Wild Riders and things like that, but I'm a little bit dubious about that. I'll have to do some testing at some point, but let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this kind of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you will be notified. Thank you very much for watching once again, and we'll see you next time.